Throughout our history, we have celebrated July 4th as the birth of this great America. But if the New York Times is correct in their wonderful piece, 1619 Project, we've been wrong for all these years, because the birth is not July 4th, 1776, but it's in 1619 when the very first slaves arrived on our shore in Virginia. And they say that, it's slavery that is the essence of who we are. It is the sum of our history. And everything else has to be looked through the lens of slavery. Slavery is all that matters. It's all that exists. If that is true, then I would encourage you to go by the liquor store, grab you a bunch of bottles, and get drunk as you can this weekend, because there's going to be nothing good to think about or to celebrate. And I got to tell you, I don't agree with this. And even if I did, how could you celebrate the beginning of slavery in America? I don't get how that's a big day, but regardless, that's what they're saying. And let me make it even worse for you. You see, it's on this day that we celebrate the Declaration of Independence from England. You can find this document in the rotunda of National Archives in Washington, D.C. It is on the wall in the stone. And, of course, we know some of the famous parts of that, but let me point out some things you may not know. One, Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. Slave owner, he's got to be eliminated. Now, this declaration was a lot longer than you realize. He spelled out 27 points of, as he used words, or oppression. That was England had oppressed the United States. 27 different things. And you know what? We know that the only oppression that matters, the biggest one that existed, of course, was slavery. Yet Jefferson didn't even refer to slavery in these 27. Got to be eliminated. And then you had 56 individuals. Now, never mind the fact they were all white guys. That alone, they should be executed. But you had these 56 people who signed their names to this document, which were basically death warrants, too, because if America didn't win the revolution, those guys would have been hung. But they put their names to it proudly. Guess what? 43 of the 56 actually owned slaves. Got to be destroyed. And then you had 13 colonies at the time, and all 13 had slaves, and it was legal. And so, again, all those states, somehow we've got to eliminate those. But you know what? I'm going to close with using Vermont as an example. It's one of those original 13 colonies. It was the very first state to abolish slavery. They even did it during the Revolutionary War before we actually became a country. And it's a wonderful thing to understand their process, how they came to the place of believing in slavery to abolishing slavery. And that's the story of every state. And our union up to the Civil War. I mean, communities, even individuals, we go through this process. It's tragic that there are those today that want to eliminate the history of the process of how we came to having a better understanding of this stuff. But hey, I'm not getting drunk this weekend. I am going to keep my eyes open and my mind alert to the wonders of this country and celebrate its greatness.